Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Warriors Fastbreak here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us. We'll start out this week talking women's basketball with head coach Scott Ballard, and a split this weekend. Let's talk about the first game, Sioux Falls. It seems like every year it's always a dogfight between you and Sioux Falls, and something weird happens. It seems on the road all the time, and this time it was Sioux Falls with the comeback against you guys.
Well, it was actually both teams making comebacks.
Right.
You know, we played really well the first half. We played really well the fourth quarter. The third quarter is where we lost control of the game. We didn't score the last 4.5 minutes of the third quarter. We were protecting some people, foul trouble. They got hot. We started missing some shots. And when you play a high-scoring team like them, if you have a 4 or 5 minute drought somewhere during the game, that's probably where they're going to make a run. And that's what happened in the third quarter, and we lost the lead. Matter of fact, we ended up getting down as much as 12 or 13 in the fourth quarter. And then the last 4 minutes, we made a remarkable comeback of our own and found ourselves down 2 with the ball with 10 seconds to go, but just didn't get a good look at it. So we end up, losing in close game there. But we did a lot of really good things. We won 3 quarters, but the third quarter, I think we got outscored 28-13, and it was a combination of things. They hit some shots. They went with a smaller lineup. They started slipping ball screens at the top of the key. Got a few easy scores off of that. They had one player that went off for 30 points and scored in a variety of ways. But we had a lot of players that had good games themselves. Rachel, who our guest is today, had a great weekend, played well against Sioux Falls. Emily Keek, Allie Pickering had 20 in that game, shot the ball really well, made some difficult shots. We had some good performances of our own. It's 2 good teams playing really hard, made adjustments. We went zone in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter, to try to neutralize their lineup and their ball screens up the top of the key, and that threw them off. And we started getting stops, got in transition ourselves, and that's how we made our run. And so it was a fun, intense game by 2 good teams. Unfortunately, we came out on the short end of that.
Yeah, and then you followed it up against Southwest with a really good game. And again, it was Emily Keek, it was Rachel Novotny, who both had great games in that one as well.
We didn't play with as much energy to start the game or most of the first half as we would have liked. And because of that, their point guard hit 4 threes in the first half. They were getting some rail drives down the lane and setting up 3-point shooters, and they like to play fast. They got a 6'4" shot blocker in the lane that didn't play the first time that we played them. We had to pay a lot of attention to when they would substitute. Sometimes they would end up with like a 5-guard lineup. We did a really good job the second half with defending them and taking away their 3. I think they hit 6 threes in the first half and 1 in the second half, and they got that early in the third quarter. So we really turned our defense into offense as the second half progressed. And then the fourth quarter, it was much like when we played at Crookston. We had a 29-point fourth quarter. I think we outscored them 29-11. Just exploded. But both games for the weekend, we averaged 8.5 turnovers per game, which is really good against those 2 defensive teams on the road. We were 19-22 from the free throw line. We had balance. We got scoring from our bench. We did a lot of really good things this past weekend, which it's been building. I've been noticing bits and pieces coming together for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and fortunately for us, we clinched a home playoff game with the win on Saturday, with 2 games remaining on this weekend on our regular season schedule.
So how does that help heading into this weekend? Because obviously it's tough opponents. It's Minnesota State Mankato. It was a double overtime game in Mankato, and then you lost to Concordia. But knowing that you already have that home playoff game set, does that make this weekend a little bit easier for planning?
No, I mean it just means that you're guaranteed to play at home in the first round of the playoffs. It doesn't have any bearing on how you play this weekend or the outcome of those games. We're playing for seeding purposes. I mean, we mathematically could finish as high as second and have a really good shot at third. So we could be 2, 3, or 4, and then it's just everybody this time of the year is jockeying for seeding position. But it's nice to know that you're going to be at home in the first round. We haven't done that in 3 years, so It's going to be nice. We don't have to make a long trip to Mary or Minot, which we did the last 2 years.
Right, and that'll be good. Although once you get past, if you get past the first round, then you have to go up to the Pentagon, and then but that's all. We'll worry about that.
We would like one more road trip.
Yes, exactly. You were talking about. Over the past couple of weeks, you've been noticing different pieces falling in place and playing well. And it seems like every week that we come on the show, we're saying, are you playing your best basketball? And it's yes. So how do you continue to keep playing your best basketball?
Well, I wouldn't say that we've been playing our best basketball. We've been playing better.
Okay.
And, we're doing some really good things right now on a consistent basis, taking care of the basketball. We've been defending well all year, but taking care of the basketball, rebounding well, making your free throws, and now what's started to happen the last 2 weekends, we've been shooting a good percentage from three-point land, which we've struggled with for a long time. So, we're putting some more points on the board. We're getting more contributions from our bench offensively. Our young people are giving us some quality minutes. It's just everybody is starting to play at a higher level than they did at different times of the year. And we're just showing some consistency, which is the right time of the year to do that.
All right, very good. We're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, Rachel Novotny will join us. That's right after this.
Don't miss out on highlights and score updates from your favorite local college and high school athletics by following HBC TV 25 Sports. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get up-to-date information on all the games covered by the HBC sports team. Grab your smartphone and add us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at HBC TV 25 Sports.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
If your home is like mine, everything begins and ends on the internet. In fact, the average home now uses 7 wireless devices each day. Make sure you have the bandwidth for homework, live chats, and streaming with fast, reliable internet from broadband.
Power all your devices with HBC high-speed internet and get up to 1,000 megabits per second. Lightning fast internet that fits all your family's needs. So call or visit hbci.com today.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25. Rachel Novotny is back. Thank you for coming back here. Let's talk about this weekend's games because, as Coach said, you had very good weekends, double-doubles at both games. Tell us, in your opinion, why you were able to be successful this weekend.
I don't know. Obviously,
staying out of foul trouble helped.
Well, that's true. Okay. Well, kind of. But I did have 4 fouls in both games, but luckily did not foul out. But anyways, I think obviously kind of not just me personally, but it's kind of like a team collective effort. So, distributing the ball and being able to get some of the shots that I got, or, kind of on the boards, making sure that I'm always kind of going after offensive boards and defensive boards. So, I mean, collectively.
We took advantage of her ability and efficiency to shoot the ball from 15, 17 feet. And that was really a big factor in both games this weekend because then she's not getting double teamed. Southwest, they gave her that shot, and she knocked it down early and often in the game, and then that they got to make some adjustments, and then that opens things up in the low part of the lane. So we were taking advantage of her skill set there.
All right, let's talk a little bit about that shot selection, because you're not a three-point shooter. You don't take a lot of, I don't know if you've even, right, that's just
really close.
You step right inside the line, top of the key, and you'll take that shot.
Yeah.
So to go through that kind of progression about whether you're going to take that shot or pass off to somebody else.
Well, I think kind of leading up to this weekend's games, our coaches were really talking about how that shot should be open. So kind of knowing the two teams that we were playing and how they played defense, especially against the post. So kind of knowing that and being able to kind of use that as my advantage, knowing that I can hit down that shot also, so that helps.
All right. One of the things Coach Ballard was talking about in the first segment too was the bench production, and that you guys can go to the bench. Does that help you out, knowing that if you need a rest, if you need to take a break, that there's really no hesitation in going to the bench and allowing you to rest up a little bit?
Yeah, it definitely kind of, I mean, any team wants that, so it definitely helps having able bodies and, you know, having confidence in everyone that goes out there and knowing that they can get the job done. So.
All right. One of the things we talked about the first time that you were on the show was that every week, every game, every practice, you were trying to find something to improve on and find something. What did you get from this weekend coming into the final regular season games and then the postseason? What are some things that you learned this weekend that you can work on?
I think definitely defensive boarding. I know that one of the games I kind of fumbled a couple balls that I know I should have had. So kind of just focusing on that and keeping my girl out of the area as well instead of tipping and stuff. Communication is always a big one for me. I think I can always increase my communication. So.
All right. Does the thought kind of creep in your mind about the final games coming up here, or is that something that you'll kind of push off until it's all over?
I mean, obviously it's something that's been thought of, but I don't like to really think about it yet because it's not there yet. But I mean, yes, I'm aware and knowledgeable of that, but I think that I'm just trying to take it kind of game by game. And obviously we still have plans after just our regular season and what we want to do. So I'm trying to keep that also in the forefront of my mind.
All right. Well, since this might be the last time that we see you, what are your future plans after the season is done? Does basketball factor in any of your future plans?
Maybe recreationally. That would be nice. But no, probably just looking for a job. I'm majoring in marketing, so trying to look for that adult first job. It's going to be a task in itself. So that's kind of like my plans right now. So everything else will hopefully fall into place. But
all right, sounds good. Well, thank you for being here today, and good luck this weekend in the playoffs.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, we'll talk men's basketball. It's right after this.
Follow the EVP Tour Professional Volleyball Tour all year long with Beach Sports Network on TV 25. BSN brings you the very best professional competition in the sand and follows the athletes on tour, which includes Olympic gold medal winners and thousands of young athletes all competing on the most beautiful beaches in the country. Tune in for Beach Sports Network Sunday through Wednesday afternoons at 4:30 here on HBC TV 25.
In the beginning, there was dial-up. Slow as syrup dial-up. When 3 megabits arrived, it felt like riding a cyclone with your hands in the air. Until 100 megabits sent you surfing with glee on a cavernous pipeline of bits and bytes. Which brings us to 1 gig. That's 1,000 megabits per second from HBC. We're about to break the internet speed barrier. Your home deserves the fastest internet. Get gigabit internet today from HBC. Internet redefined.
Stay up to date with Winona Area Public Schools by watching Making the Grade here on HBC TV 25, presented by Cost Cutters. Join me, Superintendent Rich Dahman, each month for interviews with administrators, district staff, and students. Tune in to Making the Grade Monday through Friday here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona, located in the professional building in the Winona Mall Annex.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25, and time now to talk men's basketball with head coach Todd Eisner. A difficult weekend, close games, exciting games, but unfortunately you come out on the wrong side of them. Your takeaways from this weekend?
You know, I thought, both games I thought we played really hard. We're just not making enough winning plays. I mean, it's, a little bit of the same old song and dance. We defended really well the first half at Sioux Falls, shot the ball really well, up 6 or 4 at the half. They scored a basket right at the half, and then kind of the same old issues creeped up. They shot 56% the second half. We shot 38%. That being said, we hung in there and put ourselves in a position. Mason made 2 free throws, I think, to send it to overtime, and then had a chance. Second overtime, we had the ball up 3 with 2.5 minutes to go, and turned it over on a couple possessions. They got breakaway layups on and just didn't finish the game. So still had a clean look from 3 to tie it late. And like I said, I thought our guys' effort was tremendous, but it's 6 games now that we've either lost in overtime or in single digits, and we're just not putting ourselves in a position at the end of games to make the winning type plays that you need on either end of the floor. Now,
you said same old song and dance, and it has been kind of that way that you talk every week, but is there any lessons that can be learned from that? Is there anything that you say in practice and say, look, it's happened again. I told you this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think there were some things, especially Saturday night, we didn't make simple plays late in the game. We got up 10. I don't really have a second unit per se, but some guys came off the bench and gave us a great lift. In the second half, we're up 10 with 9 minutes to go, and they scored a quick 5 points when we went after the media timeout and put our starters back in and called timeout, and then they just kind of chipped away at it, and we had a costly turnover and didn't execute a play at the end of the game that we were trying to actually go win the game, and we've got to stay locked in mentally, and when we lose our focus mentally, it really hurts us physically, and when we get hurt physically, we get exposed. But again, we did a great job. We played really poorly the first half. We're down 10, 40 to 30, and then at the 10-minute mark, we were up 61 to 51. So we had outscored them 31 to 11 the first 10 minutes of the second half, and we just got to figure out a way to finish those games off. But we've had that problem, really most of the year in league play.
All right, and in the Saturday game, turnovers really hurt you in that second part of the game. Is that something that you can fix then?
Well, it's something we haven't struggled with really for the most part. But we had 13 turnovers, which is a high number for us, and they scored 20 points off those 13 turnovers. So here they beat us whatever it was, 70 to 68 or 71-69 or whatever it ended up being, and they get 20 points off turnovers. So the lesson there is you can't turn one mistake into 2. And so if you're going to make a mistake on the offensive end, you've got to figure out a way to get back and get a stop. You can't allow them to get either a run out like we did a little bit late in the Sioux Falls second overtime, or in this game in particular throughout the night where they took advantage of our mistakes. And so that would be the big thing that I took away from that game, was that the 13 turnovers led to 20 points. Last night I was watching the Virginia Tech game, and they had 8 turnovers in the first half, but they had only scored 4 points off of it. And so if you can get a stop, there's no damage done. Right. And we didn't get a stop, and that put us in a position where it allowed them back into the game late.
Now, you have had some bright spots where like individual players will have really good games, but is that, obviously that's something you want to tie together so that you have a complete team game, but like Mason Domas scoring 19 points on Friday, Nick Klug had a pretty good game, 16 points on Friday. Can you still be proud of those individual accomplishments even if it doesn't result in a team win?
Yeah, I was more frustrated Saturday that we just didn't finish the game off. Friday I thought, Sioux Falls is a really good team, and I thought we really battled. We played both nights really with a focus to win. But like I said, the problem is, you look at the Augie game, you look at the Moorhead game, you look at the Wayne State game, you look at the 2 games this weekend, Upper Iowa, even the game that we lost in overtime, we were up 6, I think, with 5 minutes to go. Those 6 losses right there, whether it's overtime or a single-digit game, we've led at the 10-minute mark at all of them. And so, you know, we're just not doing a good job on either end of the floor of focusing in and locking in late game to put ourselves in a position to either keep the lead or extend the lead and give ourselves a chance to be a little more successful than we've been.
All right, before we look ahead to this weekend's games, I kind of want to look ahead to what this weekend means, because it's going to be senior weekend.
Yep.
And we're saying goodbye to 3 players that you've had, you know, the time that you've been here at Winona State. What have those players brought to this program, and what will you remember them by?
Well, I've been very fortunate to coach all 3 of them. Obviously, Mason and Tommy came in the same year I got here. Chuck had redshirted the year before. All 3 of them come from great families. That's really important to us. I think when we try to look at recruits, we try to deal with obviously a character trait from a standpoint of academics, from social, from a basketball standpoint also. But they all come from great homes. They've been great ambassadors of our program in terms of just representing us the right way in the classroom and on the court. Their commitment to us, you know, trying to continue to build this program has been outstanding. And like I said, it's been an honor to coach them. We certainly would love to put them out here this weekend with 2 W's.
All right, and let's take a look ahead. Concordia St. Paul, Minnesota State Mankato. One you defeated early on and one you lost to. How do you think they'll be different, and what do you need to do to be successful this weekend?
Well, it's a little different game in that was the weekend that we had the HBC curse still going on, and Chuck and Tommy got injured right before that weekend and missed both those games, and did go over to Mankato on Friday and played small really the whole game and struggled, and yet we cut it to 5 at the 5-minute mark, and then they broke away in the last 5 minutes of the game, won by I think 15 or 16 when it was all said and done. They're very, very talented. They're obviously tied for first, pose a lot of problems in that they can switch everything, have a lot of athletes, a lot of length on the defensive end of the floor, and certainly skilled on the offensive end of the floor. Concordia St. Paul, the next night we went there and played very well. They've changed up the way they're playing. They're playing almost all matchup zone now, which they hadn't done when we played them. Obviously, it's 2 months ago, I think, when we played them. So, you almost throw those games out in some ways because it's been so long since you played them. But you've got Brendan Matthews has been a 4-year stalwart for them, and then Isaiah McKay's come in as a 1-year transfer, and those 2 both average about 18 points a game. So we'll certainly need to lock in on both of them.
And then last question is always the injury report. How are you coming into this weekend?
Yeah, I think we're keeping our fingers crossed that nothing's changed, and we'll have our full contingent of guys, and just kind of, like I said, milking Chuck to the end of the year and put ourselves in a position to have him available for us on Friday and Saturday.
All right, we're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, Nick Klug will join us right after this.
Kelmus Implement Company is an agricultural equipment dealership. Back in 2016, when HBC brought fiber optics to Altura, we saw a huge benefit in internet speeds over previous providers. With our vendors requiring real-time communications with our inventory and parts books, the internet speed has given us an advantage over our competition. I would recommend HBC's products because HBC has helped Kelmus Implement grow.
Contact HBC about our lightning-fast home and business internet connections today.
NASCAR celebrates its 70th year of racing in 2019, and Raceline is the place to keep up with all of it. We have the stories that are interesting about drivers, how they got here, their dreams, and their heartaches. Raceline goes into the shops, in the garage, and wherever the excitement may be, we'll take you there. Join us every week right here for Raceline.
Sledhead 24/7. If it happens on the snow, find it here first. Snowmobile destinations, sled evaluations, lifestyles, aftermarket and product reviews, highlighting all aspects of racing, and get the inside coverage on the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross. Sledhead 24/7, where we are everything snowmobile.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on TV 25. Nick Klug now joins us, and we'll start. We always like to find out about you from high school before you came here to Winona State, and we're actually going to start with maybe the not so good news. Your senior year in basketball and even in football, I think you were injured and you missed some of your senior season. Tell us a little bit about that kind of struggle and what you went through rehab-wise, missing out on some of your senior season.
Yeah, so pretty much I played my whole football season senior year, and obviously basketball season's right after football season, so I was kind of doing football practice and just still working out, preparing for my senior basketball season, so I was kind of doing a lot of workouts all at one time, and I think I just kind of like put a lot of stress on my foot, and then after football was done, we got into like some open gyms and just kind of had a little nag. I thought it was just maybe it was like a little something, not bad. Ended up getting worse and worse, and I ended up having to go to the doctor and gave me the news that I broke my foot. So.
What's the thought at that point? Because obviously you have already committed to Winona State. You know you're going to play basketball here, and now you don't have your senior season to work on.
It was difficult. Obviously, last year in high school you're going to want to play, but obviously there's a big picture, and that it won't be my last year of playing basketball, so that's something I had to think about hard. And then obviously taking my last year off of high school was tough, but had to do it. Had to do it.
All right. Now, obviously, you saw enough out of Nick to stay with him even through injury and that. I mean, how does that kind of factor in when you're looking at somebody?
Yeah, there isn't really anything you can do about it. We had seen enough of Nick. We followed him around pretty much his entire summer before his senior year, and really loved his skill set. And you know, so once he informed us that he was having issues with his foot, and his family was really proactive in terms of getting, I think it was someone affiliated with the Milwaukee Bucks to take a look at his foot, and was the one that really suggested that, hey, you know, big picture, let's be smart about this because you've got something really important ahead. And not that your senior year of high school isn't important, but you know, thankfully his family and Nick decided that that was the path to go. And so far, I think, knock on wood, he's been feeling pretty good with his foot. He's got some custom-made orthotics that he uses in his shoes to try to keep the stress off that area, and he just continues to get better each and every day. You know, our goal is to put him on some legal steroids in the off season to get him thicker, but his skill set is tremendous. On the perimeter, he's probably got as good a skill set as anybody that we have on our team, and we're looking for a really exciting future for Nick.
All right, and you played other basketball besides high school, Wisconsin Swing. Can you tell us a little bit about that program and your history there?
Yeah, so our team is based out of Madison, but we had kids from pretty much all over the state on our team, so I guess we didn't really practice much, but like we just pretty much played like almost like a 5-out because everyone on our team could shoot, and pretty much just went from tournament to tournament playing with each other. It was super fun.
All right. And so now your freshman year here at Winona State, and you're seeing some time. In fact, this past weekend was a pretty good weekend for you, as we said in the last segment, scored 16 points against Sioux Falls. How have you felt this season in the transition from, you know, the sitting out in high school and then what you remember in high school to college basketball now?
Yeah, it's a lot different. Obviously, it's a much bigger level. Everyone can do everything. In high school, some kids can't do stuff, but like when you get here, everyone can do everything. So obviously it's going to take a lot of adjustment. I obviously need to get bigger and stronger, and I think over time I can do that, and hopefully I get better.
All right, tell us a little bit about the games this weekend, because I think you were kind of involved in sending one of the games to overtime or double overtime. Tell us about that experience.
I just was playing pretty loose out there. It was just nice, but coaches and all my other teammates just tell me to always go out there and play with confidence, and that's what I did, and I started hitting shots and just feeling good out there.
All right, and you know, Coach Eisner said he wanted to see you bulk up a little bit. You laughed when he said that. What does this off season bring for you? What are some of the things you need to work on this off season?
Eat a lot, and definitely lift a lot and try to get bigger. Obviously, I can't probably grow in height, but I can definitely get bigger and with weight, and that's one of my main goals, is to get bigger.
All right, and then this weekend, last home games of the season, getting towards the end of the season. What do you look for this weekend?
I think just need to lock up on defense and try to make things hard for the other team, and basically just try hitting our shots and getting wins.
All right, well, thank you for joining us here, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here on Warriors Fast Break. We'll see you next week here on HBC TV 25.